Welcome to Greece. This is the vacation vlog. You can currently tell I'm sunburnt. This is from Athens. I didn't record Athens because I was like, I'm not gonna read a whole bunch in Athens, and I didn't. I read about 0. For this vacation vlog, I have 2 book options. This probably is going to be a short vlog because I'm not here for super long. We're here for like 3 days and then we go back to the US. I have The Correspondent and I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. I'm starting with The Correspondent because I think I'm most drawn and excited for this. It's in like a letter format as far as I know, like emails and letters. I'm starting this. I need to get a pen. We're going to dinner and that's kind of it for today, honestly. Got here at like 3 p.m. Flew in from Athens and then we got to our Airbnb, went to the store to get food, and then now we're here. That's kind of it. We're about to go to dinner and that has been our day. So yeah, I mean, I think I'm just gonna do a better intro because that intro that I gave you like a little bit ago was absolutely awful. Hi, hello everyone, my name is Reagan. Welcome. Today we're gonna be doing my vacation reading vlog. This might be a short video and I might continue it after I get back from Greece and Europe, but right now I'm in Mykonos and we are here for a few days before I end my study abroad in Europe, my semester abroad. And I have 2 books that I brought to read on vacation. I also have my Kindle with me, and we have The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. This book I know is like written in letter form and I am really excited about this one. I think I'm gonna start this one like pretty much right away. Like as soon as I go sit outside with my parents, I'm gonna start reading this. And I started reading it earlier, but I've gotten not even a paragraph in because we had to leave for dinner. And then I also have, if I finish The Correspondent, I have I Who Have Never Known Men, another very short one. I brought 2 very short books. So I'm hoping kind of read this essentially in one day tomorrow, if not in 2 days, and then start this one on the plane home and finish it by the time I get back to the US. Is kind of my plan for this video. I'm hoping to finish 2, maybe 3 books in total in this video. And yeah, this is what I read on vacation. Normally I'd probably be reading like a fun little cutesy romance, but I'm kind of feeling a little bit literary. So if I read this and I'm like, I kind of want a fun cutesy little romance, I'll probably put this one to the side, read this on my plane ride home in one sitting, and then read a cutesy little romance on my Kindle. I've been kind of in the mood for monster romance, so this is a complete switch up from monster romance, but I'm about to go annotate this and read it on my patio overlooking the ocean as the sun sets. I'm literally so excited. It's actually so beautiful here. We were in Athens for 2 days and everyone says they love, love, love Athens, and it was fine. This is definitely more my speed. I'm going to go and sit outside and read this book as the sun sets, and I'm gonna read it first thing tomorrow morning. I'm hoping to get through maybe like, I don't even want to set a goal, like maybe 50 pages tonight, if not a little bit more. We're gonna see, but I'm gonna annotate it with this one pen. I wish I had a black pen, but I have this blue pen. We're gonna annotate what we can. Yeah, I guess I can give you a tiny little room tour, Airbnb tour really quick. And my room's kind of a mess. We're only here for 3 days, so I semi-unpacked, just threw all my stuff in a corner, and I'm gonna operate out of that. But in terms of the room, this is kind of what it's looking like. All my stuff is right over there. The bed, we have some windows. This is the main room, my bathroom that I just took a shower in, the living area, and then here's our view. Like a pretty unflattering angle. I'm getting ready, or I'm ready to go to dinner after a full beach day. You probably saw some of it, and I wanted to update you on The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. I'm currently on page 188, so I have less than 100 pages to go. There's like 167 pages in this book, I think, and I'm determined to finish it tonight. I'm low-key obsessed with it. I'm really, really liking it. If you don't know, this is about Sybil, and she's an older woman. I think she's like 76 or 78. 76 maybe in the beginning of this book was the last time I was updated on her age. She's 78. She's just like this crotchety old woman who loves to write letters to people. And honestly, like, this is gonna sound a little bit weird. A lot of people said that they didn't like her in the beginning, and while I found her endearing, but I didn't find her necessarily likable, I also didn't hate her because I think I personally know a lot of people in my life like this, or like in older age are like this, kind of crotchety, but that sounds like a negative connotation, like in the most endearing way, particular. They're very particular about things, want things to go a certain way. One of my grandmas reminds me very much of Sybil. She's very sweet, but like one of the things about her is if you go buy clothes at a store and they aren't folded a certain way, it like really frustrates her because it's like you bought these clothes and then they aren't treated with care kind of thing, like a customer service thing. And Sybil, like that is something that I feel like Sybil would complain about. So I feel like I'm very reminded of people in my life by this book in multiple different ways, like the vision loss, non-acceptance of the loss of some of your mobility, like in age. I don't know. I'm very like, this is probably a great time in my life for me to read this book because I feel like I see the progression of people in my life along with Sybil. I'm honestly absolutely adoring this book. I'm so addicted. I want to get to the end. I want to know what's happening. There's multiple plot lines that I'm very engaged in. She has one particular conversation with a customer service worker that is actually like the most endearing thing I think I've ever read, and I think by the end of this book I'm probably gonna cry. Like I would bet that by the end I'm gonna cry. I haven't gotten to the sad part quite yet. Like there's a lot of moments where I'm like, oh my god, that hurts my heart, but I haven't like bawled yet, and I feel like by the end I'm gonna bawl. There's a little thing I tabbed that I think I want to read to you. Really, the sum of this interpersonal communication is the substance of your life. Relationships begin, as we know by now, in our old ages, the meat of our lives, but all of this is gone. Vanished, and one day, Mr. Watts, you yourself will be gone. Perhaps if you have children, they will remember you. If they have grandchildren, they, God allowing, may also retain a few fragments of memory, including you. But their children will not. They may keep some old photos in a book on a shelf, and perhaps 2 or 3 times in a lifetime may turn the page and find your face and think, ah yes, doesn't Jimmy resemble this great-grandfather Mick? And continue to turn the page. And so that will be what is left of you, nearly erased. In fewer than 3 generations, and your life, the life you see from the inside right now as monumental, will be reduced to the blood in their veins, and perhaps, if you're lucky, a distant namesake, a name plucked from the family tree that has come back in vogue after 70 odd years, as fashionable things tend to do, and slapped on a newborn baby who will know nothing of you. I don't know, this whole page just really resonated with me in a way. A lot of people I've heard say this, like, this book makes you want to write letters and correspond with people and make meaningful connections with small people in your life, whether you see them every day or not. Really put the effort in to continue to foster these relationships that maybe aren't the mainstays in your life. It also talks a lot about mother-daughter relationships, which I really love. It's interesting how Sybil and her daughter have this strained relationship, and it also talks about the loss of a child, and I don't know, it has a lot of themes that I really enjoy, but I think I love a lot Sybil as our main character. Like, she definitely has her quirks, and I wouldn't say she's my favorite. Like, if she was right next to me, she's probably not my favorite person in the world. She's kind of just Sybil, and like, as you get older, the times change and you change, and I don't know. I don't even know what I'm like concretely saying, but I just really am loving this book, and I'm determined to finish it tonight. I only have about 80 pages left, give or take, and I'm determined. And it's going by really quickly because of the letter format. Like, you just read one more page and you just read one more page because there's no chapters, it's just the letters. I got a little bit of tan lines. I'm working on it. I'm the worst at tanning. I'm out in the sun for half an hour and I'm red instantly. So I have to reapply sunscreen like every hour, and I was very diligent about it today. So I don't feel like I got insanely burned. Like, I definitely am a little pink in spots. I feel like I did a pretty good job today, so I'm happy with that. So excited to read this book, probably not this book, but another book on the beach tomorrow, because I'm addicted. I'm addicted to reading on the beach. I love it. It's literally the best thing ever. Maybe I'm insane, but I kept the dust jacket on this entire day. I have 7 pages left. But I'm like very anxious about getting old now. And I also really just want to go out with my parents, to be honest. And I'm going to bed. Good morning. Ignore that noise. My dad's working out and his shoes are squeaking. But I have some updates for you. Last night, as you saw, I finished The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. I don't know what I'm gonna rate this yet because I want to sit with my rating a little bit. It'll be up on the screen now, but I really enjoyed this. And I think it, like right now, I'm currently leaning towards like a 4.5, 4.75. I really, really, really enjoyed this book. It made me cry, obviously, and that doesn't very often happen in books. I want to see how much the story sticks with me in order to like really determine and fully decide my rating, but my review will be up on Fable. My rating will be on the screen if you'd like to check out my comprehensive review. My Fable is linked down below. I honestly think that this was a perfect vacation, perfect beach read. It went by so quick. I essentially finished it in one day. I read 50 pages the first day we got here, which was I think Monday, and then on Tuesday I read essentially the other 210 pages. It went by so quick. It was so bingeable because the chapters per se were like letters and they weren't exactly chapters. It made the book go by so quickly because you were like, okay, just one more, just one more, just one more. And then you kept flipping the pages and flipping the pages. Also, Sybil's life was very engaging. Every single storyline, there were many, many storylines tied together through her correspondence. Each one was so engaging. There wasn't a single letter that I was like, this one's kind of a drag. They all felt intentional. They all felt purposeful. Every single person that she corresponded with, I was like, I want to know what happens. And generally, this was just like a very heartwarming book. A weird feeling of like, I don't want to die, life is so beautiful, and also like dying, it'll be okay. There was a lot of very beautiful quotes in this book as well. I want to see if I can find the one I underlined, or one of the ones I underlined. I believe one ought to be precious with communication. Remember, words, especially those written, are immortal. There's a lot of reflection about building relationships, how relationships can be meaningfully built. Now, this morning I ended up starting I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. This is what I would describe as a science fiction, dystopian, like it's a genre bender. I read the little introduction, which was a few pages, and it was by Sophie McIntosh in 2019. So it was like a little introduction kind of explaining the standpoint, the viewpoint, the picking up point of this book, and it really kind of put into perspective what it was for me. She said it was a genre bending book and that there are people who are diehard fans of this book, but it really hasn't made its way into the mainstream as of 2019. This is a translated work. I think it was originally written in French. Jacqueline Hartman, she's Belgian, and she was born in 1929. Her family fled to Casablanca when the Nazis invaded and only returned home after the war. After studying French literature, she started training to be a doctor but could not complete her training due to contracting tuberculosis. She turned to writing in 1954 and her work was published in 1958. In 1980, she qualified as a psychoanalyst. Hartman wrote over 50 novels and won numerous literary prizes, including the Prix Médicis or Orlando. I Who Have Never Known Men was her first novel to be translated to English and was originally published with the title The Mistress of Silence. Hartman died in 2012. And then the translator was Ross Schwartz. Obviously, it was written originally in French and then it is translated to English. And so far, all we know is our main character is a kind of a preteen of sorts, and there are these 40 women trapped in this underground bunker. You've probably heard this blurb a bajillion times. And our main character knows nothing of the world outside or the world before. And so already I'm very drawn into her perspective because in reading the introduction, it was like, what would there be of humanity if everything else was stripped away? Like there's always this talk in my degree, we've talked about this before in communication. If you took a child and raised it with no culture, no outside influence, what would the child be? Like what would become of it? It's obviously an unethical experiment that we cannot do because no one is going to raise a child like that, and that's almost nearly impossible. Like it's not possible for ethical reasons and not possible just in purely the difficulty of that task. And this novel, it feels like, is kind of touching on that, like starting that conversation. What is there of humanity if you don't place the child in an area in which culture can affect it? I'm only 20 pages in. There are like 3 parts to this book, I believe. The first part ends on page 56 or 57, and there's no really like chapters. I'm gonna take this to the beach and read it, but I'm already like very sucked in. I want to keep reading.
I am currently back, clearly from vacation. I'm in my room. This is amazing. We're gonna wrap up this video. I'm sorry if it was shitty. The last day that I was in Greece, I did happen to get a cold. Yes, a cold. And I was sick on vacation. Of course I was. If my voice sounds a little bit different still, it's because I'm still suffering from the effects. We're gonna go through the books that I read in this video, and I'm gonna give you my freaking thoughts. I finished 2 books in this video. I did finish I Who Have Never Known Men, not while I was in Greece, actually, on the plane ride. So I wasn't in Greece, but I was in the air above Greece. So I'm counting it. We're going to talk about The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. I think I've settled on a 4-star rating for this book because I think that I'm not thinking about it as much as I thought I would. That was a confusing sentence for me to say for some reason. I don't think it changed me as deeply as I wanted it to. Like, it was definitely sad in the moment because I did cry. I don't think it like changed me super deeply to where I feel like it should have a 5-star rating. You know what? There's a British saying that my British YouTubers that I love dearly, like literally, I'd be so much cooler if I had a British accent. That's a bit of me, or it's a bit of me. I love that saying because it's so like exemplifies how much something is just your taste. This book was not a bit of me, unfortunately. I really, really enjoyed it, but it wasn't a bit of me. A book that I just read that was a bit of me was definitely Yesteryear by Carol Claire Burke. This was like, oh, I really enjoyed that, but it wasn't a bit of me. So I think this is going to be a 4 stars. Second book I read, I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. I really enjoyed too. And you know what? I'm also going to rate this probably a 4 stars. Again, I don't feel like it was a bit of me. It's not a classic where I was like, I guess it's not a modern classic. It's just, when was this published? So I guess this could be like a modern classic, a classic. I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I don't know the difference. I don't know the difference. If I'm being completely honest, a modern classic and a classic. I don't have a literature degree. Okay. Sue me. I'm doing this for fun. Echo. What's the difference between a modern classic and a classic novel? Okay, so what I gleaned from that is a classic is, I don't know that I gleaned a lot from that. I gleaned what a modern classic is, but when she was talking about what a classic is, I don't know that I'm like, yeah, it's just like a vibe. Like a classic is a vibe. This is a modern classic because it was in the 20th century. It was a very explorative novel about kind of the experiment. I think I've already said this in this video, but there's an experiment in social sciences. If you had a child, it's a nature versus nurture kind of argument. If you had a child and you raised it essentially in an all-white room, theoretically, what would the child become? How much of our behavior is nature versus nurture? How much of our behavior is instinctual? This is kind of a little bit similar in a way. This is kind of that exploration in which a child is raised, in which she has no human contact, like physical human contact, no exposure to the outside world, to what things like birds are, or like seeing the sky. For all intents and purposes, raised in a completely white room. And so what does this child turn out like? It was so interesting to be in her head. I don't know if I agree with like if this were to actually happen, if this character turned out this way. Like, it's definitely a take on it. I don't know if I completely agree with the assessment, but I think maybe I wished it was explored more in depth. And it's a very short novel. It is a very short novel. It's also translated, so it could have been a different experience if I read this originally in French, which I would someday like to do. All in all to say, I really enjoyed it, but I don't think it changed the way I think about this concept. Its purpose is to make you think about what is a human and why are we the way that we are. And I think I did that while I was reading it. I was more like, why is this character the way she is in this situation? And then I was like, well, I think maybe I don't necessarily agree with this assessment, but it did get me thinking. It accomplished its purpose. But I think I wish we had a little bit deeper exploration, a little bit deeper thought processes. Like, I don't know, I just wanted more. I think I'm kind of conflicted on really what I thought about this book, because if I'm like sitting here and I'm like, would I change a thing? Obviously not. I don't have the skill to write anything of this stature. My feeling about it is that I wish there was just something a little bit different. And I don't know if I said anything concrete about this book at all, but that's how I feel. So those are the 2 books that I read while I was on vacation in Greece. I think I chose probably the 2 perfect books for me to read while I was vacationing. Like, they're both so short. They're also a little bit introspective. They both are like, let's think about the human condition. And I think sitting on a beach, relaxing, and then having an existential crisis at the same time while everyone around you is listening to club music. We were sitting on the beach in Greece. They were playing music, and the music that they were playing was "Dana, dana, da, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We're going to high. Let's go." That TikTok edit. That was the music they were playing, and I was reading this and I was thinking about the human condition. Conclusively, what happened in this video, it was kind of just a mesh of things I did on vacation, what I was reading, my thoughts about the human condition and social sciences. And stick around if you like this in any type of way, because I post content like this all the time where I ramble about books, and hopefully my goal as always is to, when you get to the end of this video, feel a little bit more motivated to pick up a book. And I'll see you next Sunday. I love you all. Bye.